And we're live.
Yeah.
Capo.
Feels good.
Thank you so much for thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really happy to meet you. In a weird way, it feels like I've heard a lot about you just from because we have a lot of mutual friends. We both know like two of the craziest Albanians.
Yeah.
In John Alite and Dennis Bazookia.
Shout out to my guys.
My brothers.
Yeah.
And so they always, well, especially Dennis, because I think you've spent a fair bit of time with Dennis.
Yes, it's true. We're close with him.
And John, only good things to say about you. So I was excited when I saw that you were in New York. I was like, oh wait, I gotta hit him up and see if he's got a little bit of time. So I appreciate
you having me and appreciate them, for like sharing good words for me, It's just great. They are great guys, great men, great friends of mine. So happy for it.
Isn't it a weird world though? Still though, like John and I are very close. We did a show together for a long time. I was actually supposed to go to his house for Christmas, but something came up. But like to be friends with somebody like that he's not like your average friend. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit of a background. Yeah. Like for you, did you I don't know, when you're a young kid, you ever imagine like, oh, maybe I'd be close friends with a mobster one day?
The thing is, I didn't grow up, in New York or anything like that. So in here is like pretty different because, there's certain people, that get involved in that stuff and, at this level. But back home, it's pretty much a big war, so it's plenty of like, gangsters and stuff. I went through the war in Kosovo as well. So, after that, it was a mess till it came and it's becoming better, day by day. But it's nothing huge to me, I'm around they all love me as an artist first, and then when we meet and share, experiences and they know me more as a person, we get more close and stuff like that. So I've been around these guys for a long, long time. Maybe not same specific as John, but, these kind of people, because there's a lot in my neighborhood where I grew up as a kid and around me. So yeah, I never thought of like something like John, but still, I have a lot of other friends that are similar to him. Not in the thing, in what he did in the background, but like in principles and in, ambitions and as how they build, how we build as Albanians. So.
I think he's like specifically a very interesting case because I've only known him, as the not criminal. Mm-hmm. And obviously had a very big criminal background.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I'm curious for you, when you like first met him or the time that you spent, I don't know how much time you spent with him, like when you're talking about like, he's a good man. When I try to tell people this, they're like, what are you talking about? Like he killed people, Like for you, how do you separate somebody who's has that background, but you still would consider a good man?
Well, the thing is like, life is different for everyone, so people go through different things in their journey. I think, we all start as humans, which mean is good in a sense, and then life puts you through things that makes you make, decisions. I explained this and it connects with my music as well because I had an album which is called Heartbroken Kids. So what the album is about is that there's a mask with a broken heart in the middle of it. And the meaning of that is that we all start as good. We all are, equal. But certain points we take some decisions, and then life puts us in another lane, in another direction. And it has to do with the heartbreaks that we get as kids, Like you lose a friend, you lose somebody close to you, and that makes you like, go different, or like you suffer economically. There's plenty of reasons that can make you do certain things, or you grew up in a environment like that you cannot run out of it, and that's a way. So for me, I don't judge people of anything rather than feeling the energy and knowing the real them, So for me, John is a good man, He might have done some things in the past, but only him knows, and God is there to judge us. Mm-hmm. I don't like to judge anyone.
Do you have talking about Heartbroken Kids, was there like a specific moment or moments during your childhood, let's say, where you had those kinds of heartbreak, where it was, especially growing up during the war, whether it was losing friends or family or whatever it might have been, that made you, specifically want to title your album that?
Yeah, of course. It's been stories and been, things happening in my life, and, I was built according to that, the traumas that I had or the good memories that I had and everything, that's me. And the mask symbolizes the bad part of me, because, I have my good side and I have my bad side. Depends, the situation. So that was the meaning of the album. And of course, I had a lot of things going on constantly, not just as a kid, but it's just life, I try to stay positive in every outcome of each situation and take the goods. So yeah, there's been some things, and I try to explain more in the music, in those songs. So that's just a part of what I felt and put it in that album.
Right. And I think so. I had are you familiar with Arbana Zara?
Yeah.
So I had Arbana on my show too.
Oh, that's great. I saw, actually, I didn't see the podcast, but I saw it there when I searched for the podcast on YouTube.
She's awesome. Like for people who are listening, she's a very talented, successful journalist from Kosovo, who has an unbelievable story. I don't know how much you know about her story. In general, like, I highly recommend people take a look at her. And she had kind of detailed to me when I had her on, the difficulties of the war growing up, and she also, I think, covered it at times. For you, well, how old were you when kind of like the principal, those war moments were?
I was 7, 8, when it happened. Probably Arbana knows more because she's bigger than me. So her story is like crazy, much different from what I felt, but I was into it, and like I've been through a lot of stuff during the war as well with my family, my parents. So it was tough times. It was actually, it's like crazy when you think of, like, I was 7 or 8 running through masses of police and army, tons of things happening, bombs all over. You don't know where your family is. Like your cousins, your friends, whatever. You just imagine you're a kid, you're a child going through that. It's like, for someone, it could be a huge trauma, but actually we grew up in that. It's not that it just happened like that. It's not that life for us was like crazy peaceful and all good, all flowers. And at certain moment, just something hits you, We were going through stuff on and off. I was so little to know much, but for that certain point, I saw some things that I wish I haven't seen, But it is what it is. I think those moments grew me and, made me who I am. So I'm thankful to be part of that. I think it's crucial. It's crucial to make you think differently and build you strongly, because I see kids today, they're not mature enough, They need certain stuff to take responsibility and all that. So I think still a good thing to happen to you and make you think differently, like makes you see life differently. Be more grateful and, be more thankful for all the blessings.
What do you think it is about going through a war, like, specifically, that makes you grow up quicker? Is it, seeing people, like, dead bodies? Is it seeing the trauma it has on your family? Or is it more like internal for you, realizing like that this is bigger than me? Like, what is it about? Because a lot of people, right, like, especially in this country, like, for example, me, I grew up here.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't experienced war, thankfully. Like, but at the same time, I think it's also beautiful what you're saying. It's like, in a weird way, you're grateful that you experienced it because it made you the man that you are today, right?
Exactly.
So what is it about, about enduring a war and being through that you think directly, like, can mold somebody into, a stronger human being?
I think it's all combined, It's not one specific thing, but it's more how you react to it, and what you think, how your brain works at that moment. You know, you see a lot of things. It's not just about killing. That's more. I don't appreciate. I don't like value that. I don't like any kid or anyone to see that. But I'm talking like in general. You know, it just makes you value freedom. Makes you value good things. Makes you value everything. What's happening after that with the country? Because when you have everything, you don't know how to value it. Right. Like I think people don't value much the things they have unless they go through something and they don't have it, because they take freedom for granted. They take a simple walk in a park for granted.
Right.
And there's nothing out there to take for granted, you know, right. For me, according to me.
When did you kind of understand even this idea of like freedom, or that you were grateful, that like understanding kind of some of these principles and values that you're talking about, right? Because as a 7 or 8 year old, you might not understand, right? Like, but maybe it's when you're older you realize like how much it is important.
I actually did, because people all around was talking about that, you know. Like maybe one day we're gonna be free, like, you know, for my mom when she was talking to me, you know, like we can go out there and I can buy some clothes, some, you know, toys for you and stuff like that, you know, like, and you think of that even as a kid, you know, like you think, how is it gonna be, you know, like it must feel nice. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's at that perspective. I understand, you don't understand it fully, but you can feel it. And then, you know, the war ended, we got free, and then things started to change. Then you manifest everything you've been talking about, right. And you see the difference. And all of these, like, you know, get together and, you know, they play a role in your life and in your character, personality.
Right. And I'm curious, just to bring you back kind of just to the beginning as a kid, because I think just the idea of a kid growing up in war is fascinating from a lot of angles. Like, what was the first moment you realized what war was?
Even before it started, you know, it was being like a lot of people protesting, a lot of stuff happening. It was like police curfew. You cannot go out at certain times. There were not too many places that you can like go and hang out. You know, it was more close within the house with the family and stuff like that, with a lot of cousins, you know, around. That was the most of fun, you know, we had as kids, you know. So that was a period that you realize a lot of stuff. And then after that, 2-3 years after, you know, it became more brutal, you know, like the forces started getting in, you know, certain groups that wanted to protect our land, you know, got involved, and then they start the real fight, you know, the war, and it comes closer to the cities and stuff like that, you know, and you see everything on TV all the time, people telling you. My father was in war too, so, you know, it is what it is. You start realizing day by day, and, you know, all the stuff what's going on, and, you know, you think of it like, what's going to happen if they come here, or if they catch us. And you think of like a lot of things, because honestly, you have plenty of time to think of.
Right.
What you're going to do. You're close somewhere, you're hiding, trying to be safe. But no one is sure, like no one is secure that nothing's going to happen. Time to time, they came to control, you know, and see who's inside, you know. Blah, blah, is there any man, or is just a woman with kids, blah, blah, stuff like this.
Because the men had to fight.
Not just had to fight, but like, yeah, if they catch someone, they might take it in with them, you know. You would never know what's going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
So some of them went to fight. If they catch you, like, if even they'll torture the woman and ask, where's your man? You know, like, is he in the war? Is he fighting for those groups? Stuff like this, you know. So we went through these things a little bit, and, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So then when, after the war, and at what point did you kind of start to become, you know, young teenager, adult? When did the music kind of start?
So the music started really early on me, you know. It was an influence of my uncle, who's one of the first rappers to do it in Albania, one of the pioneers to bring this culture back home. And it was like an influence from my mother, because my uncle was the youngest from their family, so she was always bumping his songs of her like little bro making music and stuff like that. So she was bumping his music, and it got into me. I started liking it, you know, with learning the lyrics, singing those songs, you know, that it came onto me. And actually I started like 12, 13 with another group, which was my age. They were famous in high school, so we started hanging out together, recording stuff, you know, chilling in the city, stuff like this. And then professionally, it was 2005.
Wow.
Actually, when I went into the studio and recorded my first song in a professional studio environment. So 2007 was my first big hit, first video that we released. And it's featuring my uncle as well and another artist. And the rest is history after 2007. You know, everybody listened to that song. They didn't know me too much, you know, as a face, but they knew the song. And then for me, it was amazing. My career was great because everything came step by step. Nothing came overnight, you know.
Right.
So I had the chance to like keep the good values that I have as a man, you know, like it didn't hit me because it changes you when it's overnight. I understand, you know, when someone complains about certain artists, the way they behave and stuff like that, when it gets to you like within a night, you change as a person.
Right.
For me, it was like I released a song. Some people knew me, some didn't. But like maybe I was walking through the streets and somebody said, "Oh, hey, I know you. That was a good song. I like it." And you're like, "Oh, thank you." You know, and step by step, you build your confidence.
Instead of having like mobs of people and then you think you're the shit. And
yeah. So this made it more natural and made me, you know, like keep some of the values. I didn't change, you know. I'm still the same guy I was since like primary school, high school. You know, I still have the same friends around me. Same people, family, everybody.
But how do you still like, and obviously like 2007 is not the same where you are at today, right? Yeah. But like how have you kept those same values and those same, and the same humility, right? Even as you like, sure, yeah, it's happened step by step. So I guess you've been able to kind of process it as it goes. But still, it's like, I don't know. I know a lot of people, right, that would be in your position and they, even if it doesn't happen overnight, they still let it get to their head. How do you not do that?
I think it's a bit on the family as well, how they educate you, how they, you know, treat you. Also the people you have around, you know, I'm so blessed to have amazing friends around me and family, you know. They are people who don't approve everything what I say or what I think, you know. They give their opinion and that's good, you know. You need people that can tell you no, that can tell you, that they don't like something that you're doing or a song or, you know. So it's dangerous when you have people that they tell you yes all the time. I know. You know, that's what gets people fucked up, actually. But most of it, I think, I got to be grateful to God for like, you know, I think it's his work for not letting me fly right after any success that I had in my career. And, you know, I'm so happy and so grateful for this.
Is your family mostly the people that'll say no to you or that'll say like, not that, or maybe this, or who are the people that you lean on for that? I
think friends and family, definitely, you know. People I have very close to me, I consider them family as well. We've been friends for like decades, so they be honest with me. But I'm also an easy guy, you know. Like I like to hear opinions from everybody, you know, and I consider them, and you know, so this really helped me to be what I am and keep these values.
Also, wait, I was thinking about it too. You were born on I was looking at it earlier on a leap year.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
29th of February.
Yeah, that not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, it's true. There's very certain amount of people on the planet, having a birthday on a leap year.
Maybe that's part.
I'm special.
You're special. Yeah, no. Because I was looking at that, I'm like, wait, it's pretty unique. Maybe you were the golden child. Did you know early on in your life that you were gonna have success? Could you feel it, or was it?
Honestly, no. It's not that. It's just I felt good doing what I was doing, and then people were enjoying it time after time, the audience started to grow on me, and that played a big role as well. So it's not that I always knew or felt it, but I just I learned through the steps, what makes you successful and what doesn't, and for me it's like I learned that hard work and dedication and believing that you're going to achieve what you want in life, I think that's the key. If you never give up, that's the key. You're consistent in what you want, that's the key to success. That worked for me, and still right now at this point, I'm always eager, hungry. I'm always on the studio working, always thinking of what's next. I want that adrenaline when I drop a song, when I perform that in a show, And I think this is the main reason that keeps me still doing music, I said the first day I'm not gonna feel the same hunger or the same work ethic or the same love for it. I'm probably gonna be out of it. There's no other reason that keeps me being active on music rather than, that thing fulfilling me and me being this ambitious still and this hungry still. Same as I started, it never went down, Even when I was successful, when I had my top songs and I reached my biggest numbers, biggest shows and everything, it never died on me. So let's see where's this gonna go, I don't intend to stay in music forever, to be honest,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would you want to pivot to?
Well, there's plenty of other things that I have passion about, and if we talk about the business side, I'm good. I have some stuff that I invested in, and some ongoing projects that are going really good. But if we talk about something similar, I think it might be sports, it might be MMA. Not that I want to not that I want to achieve something career-wise as a fighter, but it's something that drives me, I have that fire for it. I'm a crazy fan of the sport. I like to train. I like to support people and be in that circle. I opened also my own gym.
Oh, really?
In Pristina for MMA.
For MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I realized too? I think you were in at the Abu Dhabi card.
Yeah.
I was there too. But I think I was. But really? I was. Yeah. But I think there was one day you were with.
Dope, right?
Yeah, it was insane. You were in Dubai with the whole Al and Dennis and all them, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I might have missed you because I think I was gonna go to Dubai that day. Something where I was texting Dennis.
It was in Abu Dhabi actually.
But then, you were with all them?
In Abu Dhabi, yeah.
Okay, and then you went to the fights.
Yeah. After the fights, I met the whole crew. I met Aljo before with Dennis.
He's a beast, man.
Yeah, he's a beast and a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So I went to their gym to train with Dennis, and I met Aljo there. And Marab I met that day in Abu Dhabi actually, because of the Dennis, and he's close to them. So,
right.
But amazing guys, They left me speechless. Very good guys, very humble, and very good fighters. It's Aljo is next level. Marab as well is a beast.
Yeah.
Dennis just needs a little bit more luck, and I see him
Dana, Sean Shelby, all those. Yeah. They'll get him in. He has good.
I think so. And he deserves it.
Oh, 100%.
He deserves it. He's a great guy. He's a great prospect, and I love his fight style. It's amazing.
And I think I was with him for his last Contender Series fight. I was with them when they were cutting weight and everything, and yeah, he's so dedicated, and I know he's gonna get a call soon from the UFC, but they should get behind him too, because it's like you got a whole, because the Albanians, there's nothing more loyal than Albanian support. Like true. It's crazy. Like I honestly have a fair amount of Albanian friends, and you guys travel like something I've never seen. Like when Dennis is fighting in Atlantic City, New Jersey, the whole place is fucking packed with Albanians waving the flag and everything. It's true. Like, and you know, and I don't know, like, why do you think it's as tightly knit? Is it because it's a smaller country? Is it because of the culture?
It's because like we kind of were built like this. All the people around us are like, they don't speak the same language. They don't have the same traditions. It's that even the language, if you look at it, is not Latin in the tree.
Oh.
It has its own, you know, tree. It's very unique as a language.
Interesting.
It doesn't come from any other language, you know? It's just Albanian.
Yeah.
So we were pretty different as a population, and we tried to keep that, you know, keep each other tight and, you know, keep the tradition going and don't lose it, you know? So I think this was part of the reason, yeah.
Do you feel like that constant pride of being Albanian? Is that something that, like, because I think that holds true and that rings true for so many of the Albanians that I've met. It's like this pride, like they have it tattooed across their chest. It's like, do you feel that same way?
I do feel it. I think that's my biggest flex.
Yeah,
you know, it's great because it comes because we're a smaller country as well, and so everybody tried to get rid of us in a sense, like since forever. I don't know what's the reason for it. We must be something like even like too dangerous or nothing at all, or there's not in between with us, you know. So,
yeah, there's no in between with you guys.
But I'm so proud, and I'm so proud that everybody keeps this pride high, and you know they try to stick together and support each other. This is the most amazing thing.
Do you ever feel pressure that because you're, you know, one of the more, if not the most successful artists from there, that there's pressure on you to spread, to continue your own growth and also kind of spread, you know, the Albanian culture and the Albanian way of life?
Oh, it's actually not a pressure. It's just something I like to do because I think there's so many good things from our people and culture to take, and also is more personal. The character and the guy that I want the people to see me and like what habits I got and what things I like, you know. This is more of a personal, what I like to leave as my legacy or give to the people.
Right. What do you think is the biggest maybe misconception or thing that you wish that people knew about you that they don't?
Misconception. I don't know. Maybe kind of they not take me for granted, but in a sense, you know, they take my good side for granted, you know. I'm always good and chill with everybody, you know, but I have my bad side as well, and they think that don't exist until they see it, you know. I think that's kind of a misconception for me because I'm nice and all, but, you know, it can get bad as well if
just don't piss you off.
Kind of like that. Just don't touch my limits is more the correct thing, you know. I have some limits that I keep myself within, and I don't want nobody to, like, you know, get in that red zone. It's not that it happens, you know, but, you know, people just see me as always being like calm and relaxed and happy, you know, smiling, but I have my bad side too.
Right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's important to remind people that you're a human being. You know? You can also feel sad and
100%
and depressed and anxious and whatever, you know, the same way that any regular person can.
Yeah.
But I think also, you know, in a lot of ways, and even when I was talking to Dennis right before he came in, he's like, man, like he's one of the like the most humble and like, and he's like, you don't talk about it, but you give a lot back to your people, and I think that kind of, you know, even in just sitting with you for 30 minutes, you can tell that when you talk to you that like you don't have to show or tell all the good things that you do for your people, but the people around you, trust me, they notice it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's nice
because like, and I think that you change people's lives more than you probably can even imagine. You know.
It's a great thing to know. I try my best. I mean, I'm happy that I have the chance that I was chosen from God to be in this position I am, and have the chance to do something for somebody else. And it's not just about my people and my country. Of course, they the priority, but it's for everybody else that I can, do something good or help. In each way, it can be something small, something big, but if there's something that I can do, trust me, I'll do it,
Do you, in terms of like your music and your brand, right? Like how do you kind of go about the expansion of, capital T all over the world? Is that something that matters to you? Like, do you want to be known in a lot of places around the world? You don't care about that?
Actually, no. To be honest, I'm someone who don't like fame. I don't like fame at all. I just like music, and that's what make me famous,
Right.
kind of. But the fame is something I don't like,
Why not?
I don't know. It bothers me when people treat me differently, I want to be same with everyone. I want to be able to like walk down the street. Not that I'm not, but still, you get a certain treatment, and you don't change, but people around you change.
Mm-hmm.
They change the way they see you, the way they treat you, because of the story they build in their heads. And I don't know why is that, but for me, I'd like to be simple, and I'd like people to treat me simple as everyone else, because I don't consider myself more special than anyone. It's just music that made me having this attention or fame. So yeah.
Was there ever a moment when you were kind of coming up that you felt yourself starting to maybe get a big head, or you feel like you've been able to have a good control on that the whole time?
I think I was able to manage it in a proper way. And I talk a lot to myself, even when I'm alone sometimes, I talk a lot to myself, and I tell myself things that, matter, and things that keep me with my feet on the ground, So I think it's really important too, because everybody, they know their truth, so you just got to remind yourself who you are. You got to know who you are. The rest doesn't matter, nobody knows who you are. You know who you are. So how can someone words, make you think that you're something that you're not,
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this for me. People can say anything. They can say like, you're the toughest motherfucker, you're the strongest, but deep within me, I know what I am. So that's why I don't change. It doesn't make any difference on me.
Do you feel like you knew who you were from the beginning? Because I think what's hard for some people is they don't even know who they are from the beginning.
Well, for the most part, yeah, but from some other things, I found out through the way. But for the most of it, I knew, who I was and what I want to do and what's the mark that I want to leave in this world when I'm not anymore. And as for the question to become international, it was never my thing, to be honest. I'm very happy where I'm at with my career, with my life, with my people. So I wouldn't want anything else. I'm just grateful for all of it, and I'm just enjoying it, through everything, through meeting new people, performing for them, touring all over the world. And I think I love this freedom that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a label. I don't have a manager. I've never been signed to any major label or anything, I did it all on my own. Mm-hmm. So this gives me the freedom that I want, because if you want to make it worldwide, you got to be signed to a label. And if you sign to a label, then, you don't have that freedom.
Right.
One morning, I might be having tea with my mother, and they call you. Next day, you got to be in Paris because there's a fashion show, and, we need to promote you and stuff like this. You got to be able to do these things, and in order to achieve and then be successful worldwide. But for me, I achieved almost everything that I wanted in terms of that part of success. So I like this. I like being the boss of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I like choose for myself what I want to do and when I want to go where, and if I want to go to the certain fashion show or stuff like that. So there's nothing out there that intrigues me. I'm perfect right here. What I would want to achieve is maybe an international future that becomes a huge hit internationally, so I can perform at some festivals or shows that I wasn't able for a different crowd, but that's about it, That's about it. Nothing else.
How do you personally measure your success? Is it like the number of streams? Is it money? Is it like, how do you measure whether or not, something you've done is successful, or you as yourself is successful?
Well, there's plenty of things that I can consider a success, but it's never the numbers. It's never, the numbers are there. Everything, the money is there. The money doesn't actually make any difference on me. Of course I need money and I would want more and more. Right. But even if I didn't have any money on me, I would still be the same guy, still be doing the same things. And if sometimes like somebody sees me hiding myself or, just running, it's not because I'm a big head or I want to, act in a certain way. It's a moment that I don't feel vulnerable to talk to anyone, and I just want to, I'm tired or something. I want to do something else. I have some other things to do, whatever. It's just that. Or maybe sometimes you see somebody open the door for me. It's part of the job when I'm in a show, because rather than that, I'll be walking alone, through the city, and people can approach me and talk to me easily. It's not a big deal. When I have time, I love sharing moments with people that like my music or like me as a personality. It's just something that fulfills me as well, so.
Do you feel like the person, Capo, the performer, is any different from Capo, the person? Like, do you turn on a different, like, what do you feel like when you're on stage? Is it like, for some artists, it's like their outlet. That's how they feel good about themselves. Yeah. For others, it's like, man, it's just work. Like, for you, what is it?
Well, it's not so different. But for sure I have like a wall in between those two, and it's different when you know me as a person. I don't like give that to anyone, and it's different when you know me as an artist and want to treat me that way. I have a good intuition and I can tell, pretty much what people want from me straight away when I sit with them or I have a talk with them, or right. I can feel the energy, and I think that like helps me divide people. Who's gonna have like the best of me, or the real me, and who's gonna have the artist side, It's not so different, but still, most of the, like, let's say good parts of me, I try to hide and keep for my people, when I'm with them comfortable, like my funny side or a lot of other things.
Do you feel like, so what, you're 30 now?
Yeah.
You're still very, very young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the knock on wood, in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you look at, when you're talking about those few things that you have left to do, it's kind of crazy to hear, because that means like, technically you could be done by 35 if you're done with, if you're talking about like, I did everything I wanted to do in music. Is that a thought that you even have?
That's kind of the plan.
Really?
You never know when the moment comes, because, things work differently rather than what you plan, Most of the time never happens what you plan, but my plan is like to not be active on the music forever, and it's all because I want to put my time in maybe something that might be more important at that time than music,
right,
or success. So actively I might retire 35. It's very possible for me, but still I'm gonna do music for fun. I might do a song here and there, maybe a show if people want me, but I wouldn't be active anymore. Like, I wouldn't be competing, let's say.
But you don't think people would miss you? And like, I don't know, 35 is young.
Yeah, it is.
It's a young retirement.
I don't know. I gotta, it has to come.
Yeah, you gotta feel it out.
100%. I think people would miss me. Yeah, a lot of people are connected to my music and to me, but everything has its own time. And I think this is a young man's game. Not that 35 is not young, but still, it depends on the guy as well. In this sense, it depends on me. How I feel. I don't know if I would feel with 35 to say certain things that I said with 20, or do certain movements that I did when I was 20. You know what I mean? So it has to do a lot with how you see things and who you are and what you want in life. So yeah, I might be still doing music. I might not just release it and just keep it for myself and listen.
And then one day, 10 years later, just release everything.
Maybe, yeah.
Catch everybody off guard.
Yeah. 3 albums in a row.
Imagine.
That would have been dope.
That'd be legendary.
I work a lot in the studio though. I have almost 3 albums done if we talk about many demos and songs.
And why don't you release them?
I'm going to release one soon, and it's going to be my 6th studio album.
Wow.
So I think it's going to be my best album yet, according to how I feel when I listen to the songs and stuff that I did. So I hope that people are going to feel the same towards it as me and, be as hyped as I am when I listen to them. But let's see. It's going to be early 2023, I think, maybe spring.
Is the inspiration different now when you're writing music than when you were 20?
I think the inspiration is the same. It's just I treat some other topics that I haven't talked about when I was younger.
Like what?
Well, let's say like some social things that I wasn't concerned when I was 20 or less, And I pay attention more to details in the songs and like to not using a lot of words that I used or that a lot of people use, and bring something fresh and make it more meaningful. That's what changed on me, but the inspiration is still the same. I just feel maybe for the society I have to speak about some topics that needs to be discussed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that changed a bit on me, but nothing.
But do you think that's because you now have a bigger platform that you feel responsible that you need to talk about things?
Yes, that too. But it's also me like becoming more mature and thinking about things widely and how can I impact to the people, to the kids, to everybody that listen to my music.
How do you also separate, kind of like the business and the professional from the personal? And I feel like also too, it's got to be hard being a public figure and being one of the biggest public figures of your country, to have your, private life also kind of sometimes interfere with your business and vice versa.
Well, actually, yeah, I was never a guy who like wanted that kind of attention,
Right.
I wanted to keep that private because it's something that it's meaningful to me, and it's not as easy, to be honest, but I think what I'm happy about is that like even the media and everybody back home, they realize a little bit my character and my approach to them was really nice because I'm always there, like even whenever they want to know something, I'm very approachable, like I'm very vulnerable to like be there for them and, answer all the questions they have. So I'm very happy they respect this for me. They don't want to like go beyond my limits, as I said.
Right.
And, they respect the side of me. It means a lot, I'm very calm about this part and, they don't disturb me as much. Because I think, when you want to make certain things and you want to use certain things at one time, then they're not going to stop.
Right.
But I never did it. I'm never out there with my relationships.
Right.
I'm never out there with some people that I dated, So they just, respect that side because they know, I don't like to touch it as much,
But does it also like maybe sometimes like dissuade you? Like, and I don't know if one day you want to have a family and all that, but like, does it sometimes kind of dissuade you from like even wanting to, do things like have a family because of the fact that you're a public profile and then there's all the attention that would be more on your newly created family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I have to, talk about it at a certain time,
Right.
I don't want to hide my family.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to be there hopefully in the near future. But as of for now, I don't want to spoil things. I don't want to rush things up, Like, I think that's one of the most important parts of a human being is like creating family and having an environment like that, and
especially Albanians.
Yeah,
it's part of the culture. It is a lot. So deeply rooted.
Yep.
Like for you, I'm curious, like what kind of father do you think you would be, hypothetically speaking?
I hope good. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure you will be good.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people tell me.
No, I'm sure you would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the Albanian fathers, like I've met a lot of them, they're very like, especially with their sons or daughters, like very...
Yeah, they strict a little bit, and
You think you would follow that?
No, not so much. I think I'd have some,
of course,
some things, that I need to, make it clear. But the thing is, I think I learned from a lot of people around me, and if you're like that, if you want to stop things with force, you're just gonna lead them in that.
Right.
So I think I'm gonna have a different approach. I'm gonna let them find out, but guide them. Because it was part of the situation as well. Imagine like you come from Albania, you grow up in here with all these other people, all these other countries living in the same place, population.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you want to keep the tradition. You want your kids to marry some of Albanian guys. It's not just for us Albanians, it's for a lot of other, countries. So I think they did what they could best with what they had in their hands and what they knew, So, but my approach would be much different. I would be more relaxed, and just let them know what's what and let them do their own, It's their life.
Yeah.
They don't belong to me. They're my kids. They might be my kids, but they don't belong to me. They have their own thing. So, I'm just going to be there to support and, be close to them and do what I can.
Right. Well, I think that's also like a pretty progressive approach in a way, because I know and I love like Albanians in general. I love them. They're just so entertaining for so many different reasons. But what I just respect in general is, they have their culture and they love their culture and they want to make sure their kids respect their culture.
Yeah.
So, I think what you're describing is finding that fine line between, making sure that they understand, their roots and their heritage, but also being able to live their life.
Yes, 100%. No, I think life goes on, things move.
Right.
And when I say things move, I mean in different perspectives, like even mentally, even perspectives, how you see things and, what you think of a certain thing, certain topic. And I think it's nice for now. It's good to find a good middle and balance things, because being so old-fashioned is not the proper way, I would say, because as I said before, you can lead them to something you don't want to, because you're pressuring the other way too much. You got to let them choose what they want to do, because, as I said, we're not properties to anything, So that's the way to see it. And you try to give them the best values and teach them the best things according to experience and what you think, and then let them live, let them have their own experiences, let them have their own heartbreaks, their own, their own opinion on things. That's it.
Do you, when you kind of think about legacy and stuff like this, how do you hope that from a musical standpoint, people think of you as Capo the artist? What do you hope your music kind of provokes when people listen to it all around the world?
Well, a lot of things, I am an artist who likes to bring new stuff all the time, and switch styles and, talk about a lot of things. So I think comparing to what's on the table right now with the industry, I'm a good example, a good example to follow. I think I'm someone who pays a lot of attention of what you put out there and how they would consume it and what that product actually would do to them and how they can react to it. So I think there's a lot of things, a lot of ice-breaking things, moments, and a lot of milestones that I achieved in my career that they are, they've been done for the very first time in the industry, you know. They broke the ice, and then a lot of other artists started chasing that and doing those things. And maybe it's because I started very young and the industry was growing, and I was part of that. Imagine when I started doing music, there was no Spotify, no Instagram, no.
It's crazy.
It was not even Bluetooth invented then. It was infrared. Imagine.
It makes you sound old.
Yeah.
You're not even old.
Yeah, because I started very young.
I know,
That's
crazy.
the thing. So now it's all different, you know. It's all different, and as I said, I like to balance things, and you know, I'm a bit with the old and a bit with the new, and I think this is the balance that kept me at this position for a long time.
And finally, when you think about how obviously you're still young, you still got lots of health years ahead, but how you hope that people remember you as Capo the man, what do you hope it is?
I think they're gonna remember me as like a very hardworking man that brought quality music and good to community, you know. I think definitely I'm like one of the legends to this, you know, back home. And, you know, I have my spot in the industry that nobody can take from me. And, you know, definitely there's a lot to like understand from my career that people didn't pay enough attention. Like, but in the future, when someone goes through things, you know, they're going to find out even more things that they didn't. And, you know, they're going to find out a lot of other things that they didn't pay attention to them because everything is happening at once right now. You know, like everybody releasing music. It's too much to process for everybody, like with everything that's going on in the world and in the country, and, you know. But, you know, when someone in the future will like open the books and start reading them, I think I'm going to get what I deserve, and, you know, I'm going to get my real position in the music industry.
Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time. Pleasure to have you on my show. And I think that, you know, even from the way that our mutual friends talk about you and from what I can kind of gauge listening to you and then research and all that, I think that the mark that you're leaving on your people is real. And I think that the way you carry yourself resonates, you know, like they see you as first and foremost this humble man, and then also an incredible artist as well. But I think that whatever it is, whenever you retire, whether it's next year or in 20 years, I think you know, you've touched a lot of people. And man, I'm happy to have had you and to be able to share this moment with you. So thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and thanks for all the good words, you know. I really hope that I'm gonna keep doing good things and keep leaving good marks in people's lives, and just enjoying these moments with everybody, you know, and just, you know, being grateful and thank God for all the goods that we have now, and try to enjoy each moment, and, you know, like just be good in general. And I'm sure we have like plenty of other things to talk about. But this was just the first episode,
Exactly.
So hopefully in the near future, we'll catch up again, or maybe you're gonna, because probably they invited you as well to come back home and visit Albania.
I want to go with John because he gets and
I think that's a perfect thing to do, and just, you know, during the summer, maybe next summer, bring a camera with you, and
I know we'll do something there.
We'll do something there, and you get to see something different, and you get to show your people, you know, who listen to your podcast, a lot of great things, you know, back in Albania, in terms of like tourism, in terms of like culture, in terms of like food, in terms of like sports, entertainment, nightlife, music, everything, you know, that's a whole big industry. Even though it's a small country, there's a whole lot of things happening in there. So
with desire too.
Yeah. So you're invited from me as well as from them. And, you know, I'd love to have you as a guest, and
amazing.
Whatever I can do, you know, I'm going to be there.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
and
man.
much success in the future with the podcast.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at felix.levine. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.